In this video, we're going to talk about Levolution and how it could work in Sea of Thieves. This could be truly game changing, so make sure to watch to the end of the video to see all the concepts on how this could work in game. So first you must understand what Levolution actually means, and well, those in the audience who are Battlefield fans, well, you already know what I'm talking about. It's a term that was created by EA which describes how certain events can change the environment. It could be small scale environmental changes or even huge dramatic changes to the map. This can range from buildings getting destroyed and even certain rooms no longer accessible, or even the other way around. It could even be something so simple like a wooden bridge that gets destroyed and now you can no longer access that part of the island. So if you had chests to dig up on that side, well, you just can't access it, so you're gonna have to get creative. And is it me or do the cannons come to mind? Now we know what Levolution is, all that is next is to see how this could actually work and be incorporated in Sea of Thieves. So I have a few examples ready. Let's start with small scale Levolution ideas and work our way up. One of the cool and possible Levolution things that could be added would be the gunpowder barrels. Now, more specifically, when they explode. Now hear me out. Could you imagine when it explodes, it could leave a massive dip in the sand and also the grass, maybe stone if there's some stone structure there. But what it could be useful for is many things. It could create a hidey hole for you to hide when you got a bit of combat, you know, to dodge them bullets. But we do kind of need the crouch feature to be added, otherwise you won't get the full benefit of it. But another thing is that it could expose buried treasure. It could be a great way of finding buried treasure that someone has buried and also posted on that quest board. With that Levolution update to the gunpowder barrel, what you could also do is damage the piers at outposts. And this could put holes in them, make it difficult for players cashing in. And that way it could allow people to repair the pier. So it could be used as a distraction while people are repairing the pier for you to sneak and go and sink them. Just a way to sort of make it a bit risky to cash in an outpost that's destroyed. And I think this allows for more creative PvP rather than the bog standard sword fighting. Now moving on to some larger scale ideas. Now this one does include the Devil's Roar. But first, before this could happen, they need to make the loot way more worth it. And they need to make it so that when you go to Devil's Roar, you are getting rewarded so much more than you already are. Because at the minute there's flying rocks and that's annoying as hell. Because even if you're not on an island, you're still getting damage and you're going to have to wait or sell to another island you might not need to go to. So, with that in mind, could you imagine instead of flying rocks, some islands trickle with lava? And it doesn't make the island totally unplayable, but you have to be careful where you step. And then once the lava event has ended, it could leave a layer of volcanic rock everywhere. And this Levolution idea could also incorporate a new pickaxe, bring in more equipment into Sea of Thieves. And now you can sort of dig up the volcanic rock where you even need to dig your treasure chest, or even dig up in special spots where it will give you, let's say, resources. And you can now sell that volcanic rock resource to the Hunter's Call and get some cash and XP for it. And that way it's just bringing more things to do in the game. It's not just PvP or digging up treasure chests. It adds more of a different style of gameplay to the game. Another large scale Levolution idea will be Smugglers Bay. Could you imagine a ship full of loot in the middle of the island and then next minute two massive explosions happen? They turn around to see that you have blown the two rocks above the entrance and now you've essentially blocked them in. So they cannot leave until they clear the blockage. This could be done by having sort of pulley systems around the island sort of where they need to pull and sort of solve little puzzles maybe. Or even sort of use more gunpowder barrels and break up the big rocks just enough to make it so they can get through. This will make it a unique challenge on the seas. This can then test both of your PvP skills because they'll have to clear the blockage while fighting you. And it's also going to make it a bit of a challenge for you to get the loot off that ship and now onto your ship because there's no way you can pull alongside them. So it'll make it really interesting for both parties. When it comes to skull forts, these towers are #1 defense for the skeletons, protecting that fort. But if you're like me and you leave those towers alone so that we could detect other players and attack them, well, this could get really interesting. Could you imagine if they could destroy the towers and then render them useless? This would add more options in the game to make it easier to battle the other players doing the skull fort. This kind of stuff allows players to have a more strategic playstyle in the game rather than just straight up PvP. For example, they could choose, right, let's take out the towers, and that means there's no one to defend from the island. Because how many times you pulled up and there's still skeletons firing at you, and now you've got people on the island firing at you. So yeah, it could really balance up the PvP side of things. So why would this be a good idea for Sea of Thieves? And this answer is because the map and the islands are always the same when you play. It doesn't change. No new experiences, just nothing. When it comes to sailing the seas, it's just the same old stuff. But that could change when you are faced with a more environmental change that alters the islands, and now you have to adapt in order to survive. I also think this makes the game feel more fresh and alive, and that is definitely crucial because I feel like that's what Sea of Thieves is missing and what Sea of Thieves needs in 2022. Hopefully we'll see some sort of Levolution added into the game, but I don't think we'll see the larger scale stuff added just yet. And I think that's primarily because I know they've talked about server issues in the past, and would having more entities that are changing the game, could that really create a massive issue? I'm not too sure. So hopefully we could see some more of the smaller scale stuff to start with, because it'd be pretty cool to have some bridges that you can destroy, especially when people are carrying chests across them. Maybe like a big bridge across an island, you shoot it down, they fall, you take the treasure. And I find this could be really handy in the roleplay update that we should be getting in one of the seasons. So hopefully we will see what we come up with. That was my take on Levolution in Sea of Thieves. Do you have any ideas what could be destructible in the game? Then let me know in the comments below, and make sure to hit that sub button. And if you haven't already, come join the Discord.